Hey, I'm Mirenda.
Hi, I'm Michael.
Hey, I'm Mirenda.
And we're the Rosenbergs. The boys are going to make a part 3 and a part 4 to continue sharing their lived experiences of autism with you, and for me to be deeply amused by them.
Yes.
I didn't ask anything yet.
You looked at me.
My first question is going to go to Michael. Can you give me an example of a situation in which you would react differently to a neurotypical person?
Yes, I have this thing. I don't do particularly well with complex noise. I try to process it all at once and it fogs my brain up. I think it was either last year or the year before, my father brought me and my brother to a nearby city to celebrate Halloween. There was this giant parade. Now, in case you didn't notice, parades have a lot of people in them. And a lot of people talking about different things is a lot of complicated noise. It's why I don't like large crowds.
Okay, is it that there's a lot of people around you so you have to process looking at all those people, or is it the noise itself?
Both, but mostly the noise. It's a lot to keep track of. And even though I'm not supposed to keep track of it, it's easier for you to filter that stuff out than it would be for me.
Easier for neurotypical people to filter it out?
Yes.
Okay.
The big event of this celebration was the fireworks. Being there was almost like torture for me. So one of the people that I was with during this little excursion was very belittling when I brought this up. They didn't want to take me somewhere quiet even though I suggested that I might want to. They basically told me to suck it up and deal with it. I needed to go somewhere where I didn't have to process all of the people and all the noise that was happening around me. But because people don't experience it themselves, they almost don't believe it exists, and therefore they're belittling, and they just say, "Oh, you just have to deal with it. Just get over yourself."
How did you feel in the moment when you couldn't reset or find a quiet place to gather yourself?
I'm used to having to be in situations that I am overwhelmed in. That's just the world I live in. It's more about people being unsupportive. You know that feeling when you can tell that you're being a bit of a bummer?
Yeah.
In a group? I felt like that they were on the edge of doing that, and by expressing that I was uncomfortable or in discomfort, in a lot of discomfort, that I was almost bringing people down.
That you were almost bringing people down?
Yeah, they didn't like it.
And how did that make you feel?
Belittled and frustrated, because I know that it's real and I know that it's important to me. So it bothered me that people were trying to put me down because of that.
What it sounds like to me is that you need the people who are in your inner circle to be more understanding and more knowledgeable about autism and how to help you.
I don't expect people to become autism experts just because they happen to know someone with autism. But I do expect people to listen to my lived experiences and appreciate them as being real things and not just things I'm making up in my own head. Because if you tell me like it's all in my head, of course it's in my head. It's a neurological thing. Of course it's in my head. It doesn't make it any less real.
People accidentally say ignorant things and it's hurtful.
I'm numb to that. People say it's all on your people.
That is so sad.
I don't really mind as much when people tell me that. It's just frustrating in the moment. Hi.
Hey, how you doing? So Randolph, can you give me an example for yourself of a situation in which you would react differently than a neurotypical person would react? I'm going to turn, sorry.
You're fine. One day I was in school and I was, navigating the world. And I was having a particularly, I don't want to say autistic day, but a particularly autistic day, meaning that I was having one of those more, not necessarily more irritable, but more sensitive to certain triggers. Most autistic people will develop coping mechanisms in order to help self-soothe. This can be in the form of stemming.
So for the people, would you please explain what stemming is, just as an example?
Stemming is a repetitive. I got it. I got it. Stemming is a repetitive motion that autistic individuals will perform in order to self-soothe or release energy or cope. Rocking back and forth, jittering your leg, doing specific hand motions. It's also a form of a coping mechanism. For example, you'll probably notice I'll move my legs quite a bit, or sometimes I'll just have my headphones on and just hold my hands against my headphones to self-soothe. They don't necessarily give grace in schools. In class, I was doodling in my copy. I had my headphones on. I was jittering my leg. This was all ways to keep myself calm so I could focus in class. I don't know what was wrong at this moment, but they were very, very irritated with me. They took the pen out of my hand and put it on the table and told me to stop. And then I had my legs moving. And they said, stop doing that, it's distracting. And then I had my headphones on. And they said, if you're just going to keep doing that, then you can leave the classroom. And then I left the classroom. And then I got in trouble for leaving the classroom. I know that for us as autistic individuals, sorry, correction for the lady, people with autism. See, this is a running gag. She does not want us to be called autistic for whatever reason.
That's a bit debate, though.
It's like saying, I'm not black, I'm a person with black skin.
It's not the sum total of you. Like,
different debate, guys. We'll talk about this in the next video.
Okay.
We'll talk about this in the bonus.
Sorry, thank you. Thank you. The voice of reason.
Not many individuals will get overwhelmed in specific situations, but when they do, their methods of self-soothing are usually internal.
Right.
But...
You mean neurotypical people?
Yeah, but for us, well, for me, I don't want to describe this for everyone, but for me specifically, that doesn't work. In fact, there was a period where certain members of my family, including you at one point, got irritated where I would be in your room and I would be moving to try and self-soothe, and you'd get really mad at me because...
Yo, I didn't get mad at you because you were self-soothing. I was mad at you for shaking my whole bed.
You should have been more understanding.
Self-soothe somewhere where it doesn't feel like I'm experiencing an earthquake.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll just practice levitation for a moment. I'll just hover gently over the bed.
Oh.
My point being...
Yes, what is your point, sir?
Neurotypical people, not... Neurotypical people won't always have this problem, but when they do, they will react fine. We also react fine, but because it's seen as bad, we are punished or scolded for it.
You see, that takes me back. I want to ask you how it makes you feel, but it also leads me back to the same point we made before. A neurotypical child who grows up with people with different disabilities or differences, none of this would be weird to them. If a 4-year-old grows up with another 4-year-old who stims all the time, the neurotypical 4-year-old will no longer care. Or they'll go, oh, you're stimming, can I help you? Do you need something? Are you in distress? Mm-hmm. But it irritates people for some reason if they're not used to stimming, even though that stimming does not harm them.
Side thing is stigmatized to no end.
Secondary school isn't particularly encouraging for reason debate with teachers.
No, that's another conversation.
Yes.
And it's incredibly amazing that there is people that will eventually learn to deal with autistic individuals and help them. But frankly, until they become adults, the current adults at this moment will understand, and they aren't given the resources or the teachings or anything to...
But you're providing that teaching right now.
Listen to me, I know things.
He knows things.
Randall, you've brilliantly explained what it's like to be in school and have people misinterpret your actions or misinterpret how you soothe yourself because it's so foreign to them. How does it make you feel when people misinterpret you like that or negatively stigmatize you because of it?
I'd feel the same way that someone would feel for punishing you because your skin color is different. It's a part of me. I can't strain against it because it's built into my DNA. So when they punish me and say, stop doing this, it's like saying, stop being yourself, just suffer through it. Or
for their comfort.
For their comfort.
Yeah.
Or you are wrong for having something you can't control.
Oh, to add to that, Randolph, I explain these things to my teachers in advance.
So you manage their expectations?
Yeah, I have to. It's good to pre-warn them.
Hey,
yes.
I'm sorry. I try. I try with all of my teachers. Every single one. Well, yes, talking to them in advance will work. It doesn't always work because it's not just the fact that you are autistic, but you're an autistic student and you don't have much say in, how you...
It was a battle for me too. I began telling teachers right away when they noticed what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. I'll go, sorry for not making eye contact with you, miss or mister. I am paying attention to you still. It is just that eye contact is overwhelming for me and it may make it harder for me to take in what you're saying. And I found that helped.
Yeah.
It may not always work for as clearly it doesn't for you, but it works for me and it can be effective in the right circumstances.
So, Michael.
Yes.
And Randolph.
Hello.
Thank you guys so much for sharing what you shared today. This will be the end of part 3. 3. This will be the end of part 3. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope that this has helped you. Do you think this has helped?
I think this has helped a little bit, especially if you're a teacher or if you're a classmate with someone with autism. It's good to understand that the things that we are experiencing are real, despite the fact that they're all in our head. And that if you're confused by our behavior, don't be afraid to ask us.
That's not good for everybody. You're open to somebody asking you.
That's fair.
Somebody else would be like, why are you always asking me? Can you not read a book?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, do your research.
Do your research, which is fair.
Be woke.
Yo, do you think this has helped?
I think it was good for people to understand at least what's going on through our eyes, and that what people do, they do have an effect on people. Like, I know that some people, not everyone's going to do what they do out of malicious intent, but when they're aware of it, they should correct it. And I'm hoping that this will now make them aware of it.
I hope this has now made you aware of it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll chat to you soon. Bye.
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 Oh, there you go. There's one whole video, fellows.
Now for part 2, I'll let you Google you.